got me on the run. I'm driving in my car now, anticipating fun.
This is the lettering that I did for Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. You can see that it's yellowed because of the age, and the glue that I used to adhere the acetate that I lettered this onto a piece of illustration board. You can actually see where I cut and moved letters closer together. This was before Photoshop, before computers. This is in the 70s when there was none of that stuff. And this is sort of the unwrapping of what you're going to see here is the front and back cover of the Greatest Hits album. It was done by Drew Struzan, and I did the lettering for it. It goes, and I'll talk about that in a second. I'll show you where it goes. But this is the front and back cover illustration. It's graphite pencil on illustration board, which is unheard of. I mean, it looks like paint and oil and ink or whatever, but it's graphite pencil. And then you see the whole concept that I came up with was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, since it was a greatest hits kind of album, and Alice had that kind of little twist to him. The spin that we put on it was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So you see the group out in front of the garage with their violin cases and stuff, and you know that they're dressed like gangsters. It's from the 20s. Down here is Drew Struzan's signature. You'll see he actually signed all the pieces. He also signed it on the rear hubcap, but well, that's another story. Anyway, you'll see the box at the top there with the guys against the wall and the guys with the guns. That's where the lettering that I showed you earlier went in. So I collaborated with Drew and Bill on pretty much all the pieces, not only from the concept, but all the lettering as well. So this, again, is colored. It's a black and white graphite pencil on illustration board. Then we're going to cut to the inside illustration, which was done by Bill Garland. This is one of only 3 or 4 pieces that Drew ever collaborated with anybody on. This was the inside, so you think it's a hit on the outside, but when you go inside, it's a dance marathon. And that card there that you see, that was all drawn in perspective because there was no Photoshop. That's where all the type and the credits went. You see all the movie stars that we feature on the inside of this, and this is a graphite pencil illustration as well on illustration board, and you see the group there, and so you see that it's a big dance marathon. And the interesting thing about this piece is when we finished it and turned it into Warner Brothers, they rejected it because it had 12 movie stars that were still alive, and they were afraid of lawsuits, so we had to go in and change the heads. For example, Judy Garland was dancing with Mickey Rooney, and Mickey Rooney was still alive, so we had to find a movie star that was of his stature but also dead. Alan Ladd fit the bill, so he got the call. And then you see the band there, and again, it's a pretty amazing pair of illustrations.